All right, hey everyone. If you're staring down the FYJ Science English exam, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the entire paper, breaking it down so it feels less like a giant mountain and more like a path you can actually walk. Okay, let's get into it.
80 marks! Whoa! That's a big number, right? And when you see that staring back at you from the top of the exam paper, it can feel like a lot of pressure, especially knowing you've only got the clock on your side for so long.
So that's the real question, isn't it? How on earth do you juggle 4 different sections, a ton of different question types, all while that 3-hour timer is ticking away? Well, here's the good news. There's absolutely a method to the madness, and we're going to walk through it step by step. So here's our game plan for this explainer. Think of this as our map. First, we'll decode the whole 80-mark structure. Then we'll hit the big 4 sections: prose, poetry, writing skills, and then the grand finale drama. By the time we're done, you'll see the whole exam in a completely new light.
Okay, first things first. Before you can even think about scoring high, you have to understand the layout of the battlefield. This overview right here, this is your first strategic advantage.
Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting. This chart tells a story. Just look at it. The prose section is a whopping 34 marks. That's 42% of your entire grade, which tells you right away that your ability to read, understand, and summarize is absolutely crucial. That's where the biggest chunk of points is hiding.
Now, these are the rules of the game, and, ignoring them is like giving away free marks. Some are obvious, like using a blue or black pen, but look at number 5, maintain the sequence. This one is so important. Don't jump around. It can really confuse the person grading your paper. Just stick to the order, nice and clean.
So let's dive into that heavyweight champion of the exam, the prose section. Let's see how those massive 34 marks are actually put together. And this lays it out perfectly. The section is split into 2 halves. On one side, you've got a scene extract, something from your textbook that you should be familiar with, but on the other side, you have an unseen extract. That one's a true test of your skills on the fly. Now, for the passage you've studied, they don't just ask one type of question. Nope. They test you across the board. You can see it right here, from A1, which is about getting the main idea, all the way down to A6, which zones in on your vocabulary. It's a really systematic way to check how deeply you understood the text. And in that unseen section, once you get past the basic comprehension, you have 2 very specific, very important tasks: summary writing and note-making. 3 marks each. And honestly, these aren't just exam skills. You're going to use these for the rest of your life, so you definitely want to practice them.
All right, let's switch gears. We're moving from the world of prose into the world of poetry. This section is all about getting the feel for language on a much deeper level, and it's worth a cool 14 marks.
So for the first 10 marks, the questions are pretty similar to prose, but with a creative spin. A3 asks about things like metaphors and similes, but check out A5, creative writing. They might actually ask you to add your own lines to the poem. It's a chance to really show off a bit of your own creativity.
Okay, listen up, because this is a pro tip for the 4-mark appreciation question. You have to follow the structure. Don't just ramble in one long paragraph. Break your answer down with these 4 headings. It literally shows the examiner that you know what you're talking about, and it's the fastest way to get full marks here. All right, now we get to the section where you are in the driver's seat, writing skills. This part is all about your own creativity and expression, and it's where you can make some smart choices to rack up 16 marks. And just look at this. Choices, choices, choices. For every single question, you get an or. This is amazing because it means you can play to your strengths. Are you more of a formal report writer? Or are you better at just riffing on an idea? Do you like the tight structure of an email or the freedom of a blog? The key is to practice both so you can make a quick, confident choice on exam day. Let's just take email versus blog as a perfect example. If you're really good with structure, format, and getting straight to the point, email is probably a safe and smart bet. But if you've got a more casual, chatty style and you're good at grabbing people's attention, the blog post might be where you really shine. It's all about knowing your own style.
And now for the final act, literally. Let's talk about the drama section. Those 16 marks are all about your knowledge of specific plays and a little bit of literary history.
So, those 16 marks are split up really neatly. First up, question 5A is a quick 4-mark check on your general knowledge of drama history. After that, it's all about the specific plays you've studied, like The Rising of the Moon and A Midsummer Night's Dream, with 4 marks dedicated to each.
And here's a real-world example of what you might see. This question isn't just asking what happened. It wants you to analyze characters, to get inside their heads and explain their motivations. You really have to know the plays inside and out, not just the plot, but the why behind it all.
And to crush that first part on the history of drama, you've got to know the lingo. These are the basic building blocks. Understanding what makes a plot different from a theme, or why stage directions are so important, that's the foundation for scoring well here.
Phew. Okay, we have literally walked through every single piece of this exam paper. So let's zoom out for a second. What's the big picture takeaway from all of this?
This chart right here, this should basically be your study guide. It says it all. The clearest path to a great score is by being super strong in the prose section. That's your biggest opportunity. After that, your writing skills and drama knowledge are tied for second place. Use this to focus your revision time where it'll have the biggest impact.
And that's it. The mystery is gone. You are now officially armed with the complete blueprint for this exam. You know what's coming. So the plan is laid out right in front of you. The question isn't what should I study anymore, it's where do I start? So take what you've learned, grab your books, and start preparing with a real strategy. What's your first move going to be?